Hello everyone, welcome to Explore Maths. Today we are taking the topic of inverse trigonometry, which is a very important topic of class 12th mathematics. So first we will understand what is inverse trigonometry. Let us take a simple example. You all know sine 30 degree is half. So if I say sine inverse half is 30, that is the meaning of inverse trigonometry. Let us take one more example. If I say tan inverse 1, it means 45 degree. So basically the meaning is at what value of x you are getting an angle. So the range for these functions are angles and the domain is mostly the real numbers or depending on the function. So you know the basic function f from real number to the range. You are having the function as, or we can say fx is sine x. This you have done in the class 11th. So now if I draw a simple graph of this function, so we have the graph is like this way, or it will go like this. So this is 1 and this is minus 1, 0, pi, 2 pi, 3 pi, minus pi, minus 2 pi and so on. So from here you have observed sine 0 is 0, sine pi is also 0, sine 2 pi is also 0. So there are so many values when sine function is 0. So we can say x1 is not equal to x2, but fx1 is equal to fx2. Since the function is from real number to real number, you see in the range we have only 1 to minus 1. Range for sine function is minus 1 to 1. So all the values will not have a pre-image, therefore we can say f is not onto. So f is not 1 1 and onto, therefore f is not invertible. This you have done in previous chapter of functions. A function is invertible if it is 1 1 and onto. Then the question comes in your mind, then how can we say that this is an inverse function? So what actually you have to see at what values in which branch it is 1 1 and onto. If I take the value minus pi by 2, 2 pi by 2, all other values will give me a different answer, means x1 is equal to x2 implies fx1 is equal to fx2. You can take 30 degree, you can take 45 degree, all the values are different and y coordinate is also different. So this is called principal branch, and accordingly we define this table. This is for the function, domain and the range. So here you can see in the sine inverse, domain is minus 1 say 1 and the range is minus pi by 2 pi by 2. I will share the PDF of all the formulas in the description. You can see it from there. Cos inverse minus 1 to 1, 0 say pi. If you draw the graph of cos, you will see this is the range for this. Tan inverse, we have domain is all real numbers and range is minus pi by 2 pi by 2. Cosec inverse, real number minus 1 say 1 because at this function is not defined. Minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 and minus 0, cos at 0, you know cosec function is not defined. If you just have a idea of all this function in your mind, which you have done in class 11. So how do you learn this? You cannot do it by heart. The very simple thing, you can observe sine inverse, then tan inverse and then cosec inverse. There is some similarity. This is domain for sine inverse. This is the domain for tan inverse is all real numbers, and the range you observe, it is closed bracket and it is open bracket. Similarly, for the cosec inverse, you will be having all real numbers except this value, plus you will see the range, it is minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 minus 0. Only that minus 0 you have to do with this. So range is very important in the inverse trigonometric function. So this is the basic concept of inverse trigonometric function. Now we'll do few questions related to range and domain and some questions of from the exercise. So first we will find the range and domain. And one thing is very important, you have to make a note. Cosec x is not equal to sine inverse x. Many children do this mistake, so please understand, cosec x is not equal to sine inverse x. Cosec x is equal to 1 upon sine x. So there is a difference between, this is sine inverse x. This is not 1 upon sine x. It is just the reverse, or you can say the inverse function, but this is the reciprocal function. So there is a difference between both. We can have sine 1 by x, sine inverse 1 by x is cosec inverse x. The reverse way is possible, but not this. Okay, so please make a note of this. Similarly, sec inverse, sec x is not equal to cos inverse x. So let us do one question. Fx is equal to sine inverse 2x minus 3. You have to find the domain of this function. As we know, domain of sine inverse is minus 1 to 1, that we know. So therefore minus 1 less than equal to 2x minus 3 less than equal to 1. You have to find the value of x. So when you solve it, this is 2 less than equal to 2x. So 1 less than equal to x less than equal to 2. So x belongs to 1 to 2. This is the answer. This is the way we do the questions of domain and domain, where whatever is asked in the question, and generally exam they will ask you the domain, not for the range. For the range we have different question. Let us take one more example. Fx is 2 cos inverse 2x plus sine inverse x. So sine inverse and cos inverse, you know, both we have the domain is minus 1 to 1. So I can write this 2x is lying between minus 1 and 1. So minus 1 less than equal to 2x less than equal